He says, thanks dementia Joe Biden for importing 10 million criminals here to destroy America. And he has an article that says illegal aliens busted for $14 million gift card fraud. This was posted just the other day, yeah? Another day, another expose of illegal alien crime. It turns out the 3 men who committed 14 million gift card fraud in Texas were illegal aliens. Christians Pedrovskis, Robins Kubrevics, and Nirmundis Yelevicus from Latvia are accused of the fraud per a news release last week from the Texas Financial Crimes Intelligence Center. But KCWX2 shed more light on the crime by stating that all 3 men entered America illegally and for the express purpose of committing criminal activities. And to be fair, when it's shown that you can come here illegally and there's no repercussions, and then you can defraud every system we have and there's still no repercussions, why wouldn't people come here to do this? If we have no strong judicial system, if we have no strong on criminal action system, why would these people not come here and do this? It just seems like, as a foreigner, a no-brainer. Hey, America, their politicians, their judicial system, their citizens, they're all fucking retarded, and they keep letting people do this. Why don't we go there and get ours too? Like, it's literal free real estate for people. Which is why we need to start dealing in hard criminal actions for this. We have to stop the soft on crime bullshit that got us here in the first place. Fuck the investigations. They lead to nothing. Start grabbing bad actors, confiscate all their ill-gotten possessions, deport them immediately. At the same time, throw the officials who allowed this to happen in jail. I'm so tired, man. Petrovskis, Kubrevics, and Yelevicus are accused of gift card cloning, according to TFCIC, and at the time of their arrest had over 400 gift cards in their possession. Authorities say the illegals were stealing multiple cards a day from multiple stores and have been doing so for most of this year. This was an organized and highly successful racket. I have no idea how you do this because, like, as a responsible citizen, if I want to buy a gift card, I have to get it activated by the store clerk. And if the store clerk doesn't activate it, it's fucking worthless. So, like, how the fuck do they even do this, man? The first step to stopping this is getting the activist judges out and propose legislation that makes engaging in judicial activism punishable in the same way as treason. I agree. Hard agree. Back to this article. The Biden administration made it extremely easy for foreigners with ill intention to enter the United States. In fact, Democrats practically invited criminals to come to our country, and they're still trying to protect those criminals from being arrested by federal immigration officers. The Biden-Harris administration allowed at least 18,000 known or suspected terrorists into the United States, on top of many more murderers, rapists, thieves, drug traffickers, and other criminals. If they came here illegally, I don't care about the other crimes. That one crime is enough to remove them. A TFCIC explained how Petrovkis, Kubrevics, Olevicus, and others can commit gift card fraud. Gift card cloning involves the theft of an unactivated gift card from retail store kiosks, opening the gift card packaging, copying the electronic number off the gift card, and then reselling the gift card packaging and returning the gift card to the kiosk at the store where the card was stolen. When a consumer purchases the card and loads funds onto the compromised gift card, the criminal then checks the card's balance and drains the card of funds before the consumer can use it. Consumers are encouraged to closely examine gift card packaging before purchasing gift cards, looking for any excess glue or damage to the packaging that could indicate someone has tampered with the card. Now, see, my question is, who is still buying gift cards in the year of our Lord 2025? Like, I know not all gift cards work this way, but when I was a teenager, I got given some Visa gift cards. And Visa gift cards work in a way where, like, if you have a $30 gift card and you want to buy an item for $40, you can't. You can't just give them the $10 because they can't process the card because it works like a debit card. So if whatever you're trying to buy is more than what's on the card, it just doesn't work. It gets declined. So if you have a $20 card and you buy something for like $17.85 and you have like the, what, $2.15 left on it, quick math, unless you find something you can buy for exactly or under $2.15, that's just gonna rot on the card forever. Like, you can't do anything with it. So I started my visceral hatred of gift cards after receiving Visa gift cards that you couldn't split payments, you couldn't make up with cash, whatever the fuck. And so I've just kept that with me. And it's like, instead of making shit more complicated and buying a gift card for 50 bucks, why not just give me 50 bucks in cash? Cause like, I can use cash anywhere. I'm not hard locked into like whatever company name is on the gift card, and I don't have to deal with Visa's dumb fucking bullshit. So like, why not just give cash? What point of gift card? I also saw recently people talking about, hey, VTubers, don't leave your money in PayPal. And that's very good advice. You shouldn't leave your money in PayPal. You should withdraw it as soon as possible. I'm kind of retarded, and I frequently just like forget to move my PayPal over to my bank account. And so sometimes I'll be like, oh, I should probably do that. And it's like accumulated for like 3 or 4 months. I was like, oh, it's kind of dangerous. I probably shouldn't do that. Didn't Craigathy get burned by leaving money in PayPal? I don't remember. A lot of people have. PayPal fucks people over with currency conversion too. It's so bad. It's so bad. And especially like if I'm trying to pay someone and they don't use US money dollars, they use a different currency because they live somewhere else. PayPal will charge me like a crazy fucking fee to send them money. I knew another streamer that kept money in there. PayPal froze his account randomly. After that, he said it to transfer immediately, automatically, and eventually cut it out entirely. Yeah, for those who hate PayPal, you can still use my Stream Elements link and it'll go to like SE Pay instead of PayPal, which is great. It's great that SE Pay is a thing that exists. I love it. I kind of wish that there was something that was like PayPal, that was as good and widely accepted as PayPal, that wasn't PayPal. Thanks for a reminder. A friend sent you a payback for a loan recently, and it's your money and you want it now, despite needing to wait 3 days for the PayPal transfer. They do that, I'm assuming, because they have an instant transfer option that they make you pay for. And so they wouldn't make money off of the instant transfer if they didn't give you an option to do it slower. So I always pick the slower option. Always. I'm like, why would I pay? I'm not gonna pay for that. It's my money. If PayPal's application to become a bank goes through, they won't be able to just randomly cut people like this anymore because it'll be illegal, which would be a nice thing to see. Cash App exists but isn't available in Australia. Aussies get the shaft. Sad. I dislike Cash App. Like, whatever places don't like accept PayPal or something, I'm just like, can I just pay you in cash? Like, I don't want to have to get like 7 trillion different fucking money managing places. I don't like putting my banking info or my credit card into like a million different apps. So it's like, if you don't use PayPal and you use like some other sort of weird fucking thing, I don't want to download that. Can I just give you cash? A new law recently went into effect in the Lone Star State, specifically aimed at such fraud, the Texas Penal Code 3256. It appears gift card fraud is therefore a major issue in the state, and who knows how many other states too. The 3 illegal aliens were charged with fraudulent possession of gift cards, which is a first-degree felony. TFCIC added the following information. 2 of the men are being held in the Dallas County Jail, and 1 remains in jail in Garland. The 3 men told investigators that they usually steal gift cards from 10 stores a day, 7 days a week, and have done so since May 2025. That's wild! They are linked to recent offenses in the Dallas-Fort Worth and Central Texas and Gulf Coast areas. And again, they came to America from Latvia specifically to commit crimes. Exactly the sort of people whom Democrats want to reward. Which is not even incorrect. That is just a correct statement. And we need to stop awarding criminals. The race doesn't matter. Stop the race distraction. All criminals should be prosecuted. All illegals should be deported. We have Nate Friedman. I exposed extensive migrant shelter fraud in Massachusetts. The governor knew about this and likely profited from it. $42 per migrant meal, that is beyond waste, that is fraud. $100,000 a month for free Lyft rides after the migrants are given nice cars, and much more. Bro, $42 a meal? Can you imagine being able to get $42 meals multiple times a day, brother man? That's crazy. Not even like giant 20-inch chicken tendy subs are 42 bucks, bro. That's nuts.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is a nice facility.
I am doing a story on Holiday Inns in the area, and I just wanted to ask a few questions.
And I'm gonna have to ask that you either stop recording or leave.
Oh, it's by Elliott Human Services.
Yeah.
This company I know, they charge $42 per meal from the taxpayer. What do you do for work here?
It's private property, you're trespassing.
Okay. Will you keep saying that?
You're trespassing. As soon as they say you're trespassing, you have to leave or you're arrested.
My name is John Featherstone. I'm a former migrant shelter director in Massachusetts. I helped out at a couple different sites. Everything is free. I cannot stress the word everything is free. Everybody has a nice car. Most of them have nice cars. But when they have a doctor's appointment in Boston, or they have a immigration hearing in New Hampshire, which is an hour and a half away, you think they use their own car? Nope. They say, "Oh, I need an Uber. I need a Lyft."
How much is given for rides for Uber and Lyft?
The amount of money that we would spend on Ubers and Lyfts was well in excess of $100,000 a month.
A month?
A month, yeah. As good as Lyft and Uber had it, Amazon had it 10 times better.
And how's that? How did Amazon work into this?
Every day I would order tens of thousands of dollars worth of product from Amazon every single day, 7 days a week. One day I would do a huge diaper delivery. The next day I would do a formula delivery. The next day I would buy, toothbrushes and hair dryers and combs and strollers. Anything that they needed, they got.
Now, as I continued my way around the shelter, I noticed this school bus.
That is free daycare provided to the shelter.
Wow. Okay. So every day they take the kids to a daycare center?
No, they come there and provide daycare right on site there.
What? Oh, right on site.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it? As the hotel got overtaken by migrant families, there was not enough capacity and there were fights breaking out over washers and dryers. So the state contracted this company to come in 5 days a week and do everybody's laundry. You put your laundry out by 7 o'clock, it's back by 5 o'clock. And
That's actually even better than some people who live in apartment complexes paying $2,500 a month for their one bed, one bath in some New Hampshire, Massachusetts town, and they have half broken laundry facilities. That's crazy to me.
It all comes back folded in these nice bags, and it's free, or the taxpayers of Massachusetts pay for it. And, the media wants to make it sound like most of the residents are escaping, the horrors of Haiti. But they go, well, I was in Chile for 10 years after the earthquake in Haiti. And you're like, what? So you didn't leave Haiti this year? No, I left 10 years ago and I went to Chile. And then they made us work. So then we went to Brazil and we were content in Brazil. And then I'm like, well, why'd you come to America? Well, we came to America because Joe Biden told us everything was free.
I saw, that's why I've been saying the deportations aren't enough. We have to change our system giving free shit out. And there's so many people on Twitter that will try to gaslight you and be like, no one's getting free shit. That's a far-right conspiracy theory. And yet we keep seeing tons of fucking fraud. Sounds like Nashua should be renamed to something else. It's there's definitely been increasing issues in some of the larger cities in New Hampshire. When will they switch to they're getting free stuff and it's good? Well, just like we saw in that meme earlier, they've added the maybe we can just kill people who are noticing. So probably I feel like we're in that part right now. It's a conspiracy theory, but it's good that it's happening, True. Why haven't we enacted the Insurrection Act? What else do you call a state which changed their flag to a foreign nation other than guilty of secession? That's why if you're in New Hampshire, brother, that bill next year, that bill looking mighty fine, brother mans. Fugitive migrant criminal bizarrely tries to hide in a town's nativity scene. Bizarre images show the moment a fugitive migrant on the run in Italy was spotted trying to blend into a Christmas nativity scene by pretending to be one of the three wise men. The mayor of the town uncovered the unholy ruse, although he said he first thought about contacting the organizers of the outdoor scene to praise them because the statue was so lifelike. Are we sure he's even in this picture right now? I feel like I'm just looking at the actual scene, not even a recreation. Then it moved. The not-so-wise man was seen standing in the background of the festive scene with his arms held aloft, trying to imitate the life-size statues alongside him during the comical incident. His less than convincing scheme showed him wearing a winter coat entirely different to those of the statues. The wanted man, a 38-year-old Ghanaian migrant, was fleeing from cops after allegedly assaulting an officer and resisting arrest. Definitely a wise man. He was previously sentenced to 9.5 months in prison by a court in Bologna. I know how I shall we. Before escaping south to the heel of the boot. He tried to hide in the nativity scene in the small town of Galatoni in Puglia while on the lamb. His manger scheme was spotted by the town's mayor. While standing in front of the nativity carefully made by our tourism office, I noticed a presence I had initially mistaken for part of the scene. A detail that seemed harmless, but turned out to be decisive. Mayor Flavio Filoni wrote in a statement, a detail that seemed harmless. He was like, oh, I wonder why they made one of the three wise men black. I guess that's just the consequence of current year. Oh, it moved. That's actually just a real black man. Balthazar is supposed to be black, yeah? Maybe. I don't remember the last time I've seen a full nativity scene. Thanks to the quick intervention of our local police, state police, and Carabinieri, it was possible to track down and identify a person who was a wanted fugitive, a result that confirms once again how fundamental it is to place full confidence in the day-to-day work of those who guarantee safety and legality. A sincere thank you to all the women and men who guard our territory with competence, attention, and dedication. The unidentified migrant was quickly arrested and has since been remanded in custody in the nearby city of Lise, where he will serve out the rest of his sentence and hopefully then be deported, right? Quality Learing Center has been investigated 13 different times since May 2022. 50 or so different violations reported by the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. That means state officials physically saw the condition and status of the center and proceeded to allow the fraud to continue.
Turns out that the Quality Learing Center, supposed to be the Quality Learning Center, has received 13 violations and has been investigated multiple times just in the last 4 years by the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. And all of this is public record information. Anybody can find it by just typing the address 1411 Nicollet Avenue. And immediately I found this public information from the Department of Human Services in Minnesota. This checks out to be the spot. It's a child care center, total capacity 99. And as you guys can see, these are all the list of various violations and investigations of this place. Since May 9th, 2022, they've been investigated and received violations over 13 different times. For things like children did not have daily access to interest areas, areas that are used by children are not in good repair, crib mat.
He's probably gonna read it, but crib mattresses and/or sheets did not meet safety requirements and/or items were in a crib for an infant under 12 months. What the fuck?
Mattresses and/or sheets did not meet the safety requirements. They even got a violation because the program did not report a death, serious injury, fire, or emergency properly.
What?
Obviously, the state has been looking into this place for a while, so it makes you question why didn't they notice the amount of fraud there? All it took was Nick Shirley pulling up to the place and seeing that there's no children there to determine that obviously something is wrong here.
This man lives right near a golf course. He's showing off way too much information. Look at how beautiful his fence is in the background. I need to hit this guy up and ask him where he got some of his shit.
You have people coming from the state 13 different times in the last 4 years and they didn't notice this? Obviously, this is something that needs to be looked into to see just how much did state and city officials play a role in all of this fraud.
But that's kind of wild. Screenshots of the violations. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, someone asking if they can get credit. He's like, I had no idea. Wanted to read the reviews. That's when I stumbled upon this. We had some retard here say, I decided to watch this since Maga won't shut the fuck up about it. Here's what I saw. Nick piggybacks his reporting on top of actual reporting and clips from legitimate news sources that have already covered this. Clearly it wasn't good enough if nothing was fucking getting done! I've been talking about the Minnesota fraud since like what feels like spring this year, man! And we haven't had anything actually fucking happen except a small number of like 70 people get convicted and then start getting released by different judges because the judges are corrupt as fuck. So clearly Nick's reporting was very much fucking needed, bald retard. He partners with some dude named David and drives to different places to get provocative footage for his video. That's what you do as an investigative reporter. You drive around with evidence of what you're accusing people of. David was a little bit harsh. He should have been softer to let people hang themselves a bit better, but you know. David's a boomer and he's angry, so I understand him at least. David is a resident from the area. Also that! David was a resident of the fucking area! There are already prosecutors and investigations happening in Minnesota to deal with this problem. Not well enough! Because the judges are letting people off! End result, shock footage for impressions on X pretending to uncover a scandal that was already uncovered. Nick thinks he's the next James O'Keefe. Nobody had gone down to these businesses to show us the absolute level of depraved fraud going on. And there were some people even in the video who didn't realize how bad things were, who live in the fucking area. Just because you've seen reporting on this doesn't mean everyone has, and doesn't mean it was enough reporting. Why would you get mad at this kid for showcasing more of the fraud? Actual fucking retard. And then someone said, the news cycle and reach are very important in accountability. While some level of investigation may have been happening, it could very easily have fizzled. Nick brought global attention to this. It will not be possible to hide now, and the response will need to be larger. It's clear that whatever investigation is happening, its scope needs to be expanded to government officials from the federal level. Agreed! In my town, this guy's town, a dangerous homeless encampment known and with many complaints investigations was flourishing until I jumped in, raised awareness, and brought it to light to the media and local officials, where it finally was resolved. It took citizen reporting. Nick was not claiming he broke the story. He simply highlighted the issue and got it put in front of millions. And the bald retard responds, he didn't bring global attention. X is a Maga echo chamber. Some other idiot said, you're a fucking moron. X isn't global attention. It's Maga faithful. You're an idiot. Brother, what the fuck? How can you be so dumb? How can people be this retarded?
The people are retarded.
And then Hans Monkey here said, it is more than a little disconcerting that this kid is being turned into the public face of the anti-fraud effort. He did genuinely impressive work, he exposed real wrongdoing, gained a large following, and will no doubt monetize that success. Why did you have to say that? Because he should monetize that success. He would deserve it. What is this kind of thing of like looking down on people trying to become independent investigative reporter? Like no other reporters usually get this kind of scrutiny. This is kind of wild to see. Yeah, also as if CNN doesn't monetize their reporting. But at this point, it should no longer be about him. This is where the people whose actual job it is to handle these matters need to take over. The Trump administration, US attorneys, the FBI, and related agencies. That is true not only for his own safety, but because keeping him front and center actively hurts the cause. It allows the fraudsters and their enablers to redirect attention away from the substance and onto the messenger. Suddenly, the story becomes a loud YouTuber, a troublemaker, a white guy who supposedly harassed Somalis, etc., rather than the fraud itself. That is a gift to the people who want this to be buried. This was going to happen regardless, because these are people who use lies and deflections to try and defend their criminal actions constantly, or the actions of people who are criminals that they want to keep in our country. This was going to happen regardless. The point is, you need to just ignore those people who are trying to make nonsense, lies, and non-issues the problem of the hour. Everyone should be keeping focused on the fraud instead of allowing yourself to be distracted by people who want to distract you to keep doing more fraud. Like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. He opened the door, but he should not be expected to walk through it alone. Now is the time to see whether anyone with real authority intends to do their job. And I agree with this part. People with real authority actually do need to do their fucking job. But you can't denigrate the guy who brought this kind of attention to it while also asking for people to do their job. It's a little crazy to word it this way, in my opinion. It's only getting worse across the entire US, truly. And I mean, I quote retweeted this the other day, where Hassan was like, I don't know what kind of fraud Somalis and daycares are doing, but I think it's a separate crime to try and storm with a camera into a daycare with kids in it. And it's like, what? They aren't daycares. There are no kids in them. And it's not a crime to knock on doors and ask if you can check your kid into daycare. What the fuck? Is this the selective blindness that really throws you? It's like purposeful though, you know? Like these people aren't dumb, they're purposefully lying. Nick quote retweeted that video we watched earlier of that creepy looking guy saying, why don't you go to a daycare yourself and you'll see it firsthand? Or you can just keep yapping on selfie mode. True! True and fucking real, brother. I like seeing him slap the fuck back. Nick Shirley is the best in the game. That's a fucking huge compliment from James O'Keefe. That's wild. Trying to leave the world with less fraud than I found it because taxes are too high for people to be stealing from hardworking people's pockets. True. Very true and real. And I very much wish we could en masse stop paying our taxes. I would love to not send any more fucking money to the IRS, bro. I would love that beyond anything. Merrimack mentioned in potential plan for ICE facilities. New Hampshire town was mentioned as a possible ICE site. Trump administration, in an effort to speed up deportations, is looking to renovate industrial warehouses to be used as ICE facilities, according to an article recently published by the Washington Post. The reporting said, according to plans, the warehouses, which will be situated in various cities and towns throughout the country, will hold 80,000 immigrant detainees and will help overhaul the United States immigrant detention system. I think it's very dangerous to put that amount of detainees in Merrimack, New Hampshire. I think any detention facilities should not be designed for long-term detention holding. They should all be short-term, and the deportations should be a lot faster than they are. The plans outline two types of facilities: larger detention centers, which can hold between 5,000 and 10,000 beds, and smaller sites. The draft solicitation is not final and is subject to change, according to the Washington Post. One New Hampshire town was mentioned in those plans, Merrimack. The reporting said ICE has plans for a smaller processing site in Merrimack. Okay, that's good. That's good that it's a smaller processing site. The exact location is still unclear. It's also unclear just how much, if any, involvement the community had in the planning process. Merrimack town manager Paul McCauley told News 9 he had no knowledge of an ICE facility coming to Merrimack. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Merrimack is like slightly south of Manchester, right? I want to say it's like around the like Bedford area, somewhere around there. That's how bad the problem is. If you've got millions of immigrants, you need the ability to temporarily hold at least 80,000 at a time. I mean, maybe. I don't know how bad the situation is over in like the New Hampshire area. They'd probably be taking people from Maine and Massachusetts as well, I'd have to imagine. Additionally, local lawmakers were equally surprised to learn about the possibility. This was just sprung on us and we have no idea what was coming in, said Rep. Wendy Thomas, Democrat, Merrimack. Warehouses aren't supposed to be for human beings to live in. We live in New Hampshire, you know how cold it gets outside. A warehouse is not a humane place to keep people. Rep. Maggie Goodlander is also joining the conversation. She should not be allowed to have any part of any conversation whatsoever. Hopefully she gets voted the fuck out. She said she's deeply concerned about the apparent lack of involvement from the community in this plan. Goodlander, in a statement posted on social media, said, "This is not who we are. I'm working closely with our partners at every level of government to get to the bottom of this proposal, and I will continue using every tool available to hold the Trump administration accountable." However, not all New Hampshire lawmakers are opposed to the idea. It's our favorite state rep, Travis Corcoran, represents the Hillsborough district. He told News 9 in a statement, "Granite Staters are suffering from a plague of illegal aliens and fraudulent asylum seekers who put a drain on our resources. Thus, I look forward to permanently abolishing the New Hampshire Office of Refugee Resettlement via HB 1706, and I extend my warmest welcome to ICE as it ramps up operations in New Hampshire." Based Travis, dude? News 9 reached out to Governor Kelly Ayoutte's office, ICE, and the Department of Homeland Security for a statement regarding this matter, and has not heard back on any of those reports. Very unfortunate. Cold in New Hampshire. Deploy space heaters. Problem solved. Yeah, those PS5s have to have a use somewhere, right? Alpha News said Burnsville Autism Center demands $100,000 from Alpha News in lawsuit threat that strains credulity. I would love to delve into discovery of your client's business to show exactly what is transpiring within it. I am ready, willing, and able to use the law to ferret out another fraud committed on Minnesota taxpayers. Attorney Chris Medell wrote in response. That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild. 2 reviews seem super authentic. I wanted to take a moment to thank your team for professional and compassionate care provided during our recent visits. The staff were attentive, knowledgeable, and patient-centered, making the experience both comfortable and productive. Truly appreciate the clear communication, organized approach, and genuine commitment to supporting clients and their families. The other one starts exactly the same way. Oh my god. Yeah, that's real. That's real.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
Reads like it was written by AI. Yeah, the lawyer speak for okay bet, pretty much. That's funny. Zizou Lefty. Yeah, fake as fuck, brother man. House Majority Whip Vows to deport Somalis involved in Minnesota welfare fraud scandal. Good, deport them all! Deport all of the fraudsters, man. The third in command of the House Republicans is calling to revoke citizenship and deport Somalian nationals connected to defrauding Minnesota and the federal government. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer took to X to express his intention to change the law to ensure that members of Minnesota's Somalian community are removed from the country for engaging in illegal activity. I have 3 words regarding Somalis who have committed fraud against American taxpayers. Send them home. If they're here illegally, deport them immediately. If they're naturalized citizens, revoke their citizenship and deport them quickly thereafter. Good. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to fucking see, Matt. Emmer's tweet comes following several investigations revealing that billions of dollars have been defrauded by individuals from the Somalian diaspora in Minnesota. I've always taken the word diaspora to be like really fucking red flaggy. Emmer's tweet comes following several investigations revealing billions of dollars have been defrauded by individuals from the Somalian diaspora in Minnesota. On Monday, Attorney General Pam Bondi shared on X that 98 individuals, 85 of Somalian descent, had been charged in connection to those schemes. Her tweet comes in response to a viral video posted by independent journalist Nick Shirley, in which he shows a number of daycares in Minnesota which received state dollars that appeared not to be in operation. As a result, the Department of Homeland Security has sent investigators to the state. Once again, we need to get rid of the judges that keep letting off these fraudsters. Meanwhile, federal investigators are looking into 14 Medicaid-funded programs provided by the state due to suspicious billing practices. Prosecutors suspect that more than half of the $18 billion taxpayer funding for the programs was stolen. With Minnesota under greater scrutiny, there are allegations that members of the Somalian community have funneled welfare money to the terrorist organization Al-Shabaab. But those allegations remain unfounded.
ICE is continuing to raid Somali communities in Minnesota as part of Operation Metro Surge in one of the largest Somali communities in the state. Videos floating around X showed ICE in Minnesota's largest Somali community near Carmel Mall, which of course shows people trying to block the vehicles from driving down the street. Now, since Operation Metro Surge began in early December, 400 arrests have been made.
That's not enough.
It primarily targets illegal migrants with prior criminal records for offenses related to sex crimes, drug trafficking, and gangs.
Who is this woman?
Here's Senator Amy Klobuchar visiting Carmel Mall that's estimated to have 80,000 Somali Americans. And she wrote, "I stand with them against the president's hateful attacks." And
Amy Klobuchar! We need to build that wall! Pixie Misa, thank you for that. Tom Emmer has a questionable history here, founding member of the Congressional Somali Caucus. What the fuck? Why would he make a Congressional Somali Caucus? Why would he be involved in that and then now also calling for the denaturalization and deportation? I mean, will he acknowledge his part in having foreigners defraud our nation? That's kind of fucking weird. That was a decade ago. Well, it's a good thing that a decade ago was when the fraud fucking first started getting noticed then, ain't it? His base is riled up and so he's going with the wind. I need to have politicians actually dedicated to the shit they're gonna do instead of fucking being weird, you know? Additionally, if any naturalized Somalis had undisclosed ties to terrorist organizations like Al-Shabaab, I want to see their citizenship revoked and their asses sent back immediately. Same goes for anyone who is found to have committed marriage fraud during the immigration process. Deport Ilhan Omar. Deporter. Bill Malugan, congressional correspondent for Fox News. DHS confirms to Fox that they are actively auditing immigration cases for Somali U.S. citizens to look for fraud that would warrant potential denaturalization. They are also auditing cases for migrants from 18 other countries of concern. I think this was that thing that Trump passed recently, right? Where he made like a list of countries where we're freezing any entry from. Under U.S. law, if an individual procures citizenship on a fraudulent basis, that is grounds for denaturalization. This, as several GOP members of Congress have called for Somalis convicted in the Minnesota fraud scheme to be denaturalized and deported. Denaturalization is a very rare process, with typically only between a dozen to a few dozen cases per year, going back to the 1990s. Well, we need a lot more, don't we? It is also lengthy, resource-intensive, and has a high legal burden to meet. The government must prove illegal procurement during the citizenship process. Yeah, you say that it's going to be resource intensive, but I bet we're going to save a lot of money denaturalizing people, defrauding our systems. Marriage fraud and any false representations to obtain citizenship, etc. will be the things DHS will be looking for in these cases. Very good. Very good. I love to see that. I love to see that. Paladin had a tweet here that I was linked. It's strange, the left has been completely masked off about their dislike of white people for years, but when it comes to Somalian fraud in Minnesota, they seem strangely adverse to just coming out and saying why it is they don't care. The victims are largely white taxpayers and the beneficiaries are non-white immigrants. Yet for some reason, they haven't yet moved to, and that's a good thing. This is a change in their collective behavior since just a few years ago. Or perhaps they just need to work through the cycle of first denying it while also calling it old news. But I've seen very little, and that's a good thing yet. Well, like I said earlier, that new graph, the added step, maybe we can just kill the people who are noticing. It seems like that's where we are now before we get to the "and it was a good thing" portion. It seems like they're gonna get there a little slowly because we're on the, well, let's just kill people who are noticing part. I think they realize this is a bad thing. I don't know how deep their smugness and narcissism goes, so it'll be very interesting to see, because we've already pulled up several tweets during stream of like journalists and other people saying this isn't actually happening. These are legitimate businesses. We have some YouTubers trying to pretend to be journalists just to get clicks on X, right? Like they are trying the discrediting kind of thing, but they haven't yet gotten to the "and this is a good thing" yet, because they've just been like, well, we need to just stop people from noticing in general. I think this is what a lot of people feel like right now. Someone said, so much of our system depends on good faith, voluntary compliance. Once that ends, the house of cards implodes. Some other guy said, why bother going to school, taking on massive debt, dutifully following all the rules, if the end result is just scraping by as a lifelong renter in a rundown place with little hope of getting married or having children, while people who game the system or break the rules end up wealthy with families and comfortable lives. And I think this is what a lot of us are feeling at the moment, where it's like, if I stop paying my taxes, because fuck you, I don't want my taxes going to all this shit, I'm going to get in so much more trouble than anyone involved in this Somalian scam. And it's a very sad thing to realize, but I think more people understanding that this is where we are is a good thing, because it means that more people can't just stick their head in the sand and say, the people who talk about the culture war are stupid. I don't want to have to pay attention to politics. And I really hope that this means that something will actually get done overall. I've already started seeing a lot of the doomerisms about, well, Republicans deserve to lose the next like midterm elections. And while I agree, because not enough has been done, if you don't present like a different Republican candidate, if you don't present someone who's actually going to try and get someone done, the spineless do-nothing is still a better option than the acceleration, we should pick the person who's going to throttle us even worse into despair. And I hate that we're in that position, because I don't want to vote for spineless do-nothings. I want someone who will do something. And this is why I try so hard to say that if you have any kind of ability to, even if it's not the time to run yourself, get involved in your local politics. Get other people around you to run, or to help support you run, or to do something like that, man. Why not commit to criminality and be better than them? Because they will throw you away. You're not allowed to commit crime. The founders basically built in inaction as the default government action as a feature. A roller coaster is only fun on the way down. I'm glad to see that some stuff is actually getting done in the past few days, that people are actually paying attention to the fraud. I don't want just investigations. I want people being held criminally liable. I want mass deportations. I want judges being removed from the bench and never being able to serve as a judge again for letting these criminals off. These are things that need to happen if we want to get back to any semblance of normality.